Here's the play when you're getting ready to start attacking a person that you're going to fight. This is exactly what the guys like Emmanuel Stewart did. Like I said before, I'm gonna just repeat this because I want this to go out to my coaches and stuff that really need to understand how this thing boxing really works. Whenever you're competing, you've been off for 5 years, but Sugar Ray Leonard, when he fought, when Sugar Ray Leonard fought Hagler, he had been off for 5 years. He had some bullshit in between. But so what his strategy was is he trained like an animal. He was already active, but he saw slippage also. So he took advantage of that when it comes to knowing how to fight a fight without skills, without techniques, but strategy is what he used when he fought Marvin Hagler. And so what you want to do, the same thing that if you take this guy's fight right now, you don't win the fight. Not because you're not a better fighter, it's because what's in the muscle memory that you need now is the deception. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotten so much more reps in the ring that you have the proper deception tricks, like Canelo did at the weigh-in yesterday. Canelo deceived this young man yesterday at the weigh-in by basically taking him, looking him face to face, and letting him know when to break. So he was subtly taking control over the fight. And he's going to do that exact same trick. It's a matador trick where when the fight's going on, if the guy coming too hard, Canelo gonna be like, hold up, chill out. If the dude throwing shots that Canelo don't like, he gonna be like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna verbally control him. And so he was letting them know during the weigh-in. Go look at the weigh-in. Go watch that video that I shot yesterday in the studio. That when he don't like what this dude is doing, he's gonna tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey," just like he did yesterday at the weigh-in. And he told the dude, tapped him on the shoulder and turned him and said, "Now let's take the picture." See, Mayweather tried to do that to Canelo, but Canelo didn't fall for it. It still didn't work in the fight, but that's what that game is. So what I want you to know when you're getting ready to fight this guy, you take 3 fights. One fight to get used to the repetition of the gym, practicing, getting prep, doing it the right way this time, all the way, top to bottom, the right people to look at you, the right people to guide you. This is why I connected you directly with Coach Sean. You guys come here, we'll put you in the right circle of people. Then the next fight is to actually see what you brought from that 5 year layoff. Not the first fight. That's not what that's for. That's to get used to. So you got to put a cab driver in there because it's only part one. And this is the long game. This ain't no short game. You're investing in this last run. And the second fight is to get yourself prepared to see what tools you actually brought to this next phase. Is it your awareness in the ring? Is it your ring generalship? Do you still have that tenacity? Because when you measure that, that's when you're going to take the third fight. And the third fight is going to be somebody who push you and those skills that you knew you brought. Because we know what'll happen if you have 5 fights. Like nobody can really get with you because you'll understand your weight. You'll understand being with the experience you have. And this is how you're going to do it, man. You take that third fight and you say, I'm ready for him. And when he comes, like you're really the future again. Like you're that guy. Like when you walk in there, you're gonna be like, yo, because the gym work and the gym wars in the DMV is gonna be real. You might get that work with Keyshawn Davis. You're gonna get that work with, maybe Lamont Peterson. Anthony Peterson. You're gonna get that work with guys who working, like really getting that smoke. So, and I know Keyshawn Davis' brother, Kevin, trains up there. I'm going to make sure you get directly right to where you need to get to because Coach Sean is right there in the DMV. And ain't nobody going to be able to mess with you. You get that work. Like, definitely nobody in North Carolina. You can forget about it. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, that's big, man. But when you get in the ring for that, It's gonna be for some money because I'm like I said, this time you take this run and I'm gonna show you exactly, basically, because you're in the school. I'm gonna show you exactly the process that people like Orion Garcia are using to get big, and people will know you better this time because you're gonna do podcasts, you're gonna get visible, and it's a process. And you're going to say,
I'm glad I'm with you. I swear, man, my word, I'm coming out there because I'm make some moves out of it.
yeah, because people ain't gonna understand when they see somebody. They're gonna be like, man, that dude fast like Javante Davis and move like, sweepy and got thunderous punches like Tyson in his prime. So they're not going to think anything other than where has this dude been. So with that being said, that's why you take this thing and it's like chess. Emmanuel Stewart said, Mike Tyson, you take this fight now, you won't get this fight. Mike Tyson was not ready to fight Lennox Lewis. And everybody know that. Everybody that know boxing. I'm sitting in there with the gods of boxing. We talking about it. They were like, yeah, Emmanuel Stewart's money and Mike Tyson wanted to get this fight. And he knew if he didn't take it then, he wouldn't get it. But those two fights he had before that Buster Mathis fight and that Frank Bruno fight, they don't prepare you for no Lennox Lewis. He didn't have to deal with anything that Lennox was bringing. And so, therefore, you play chess with boxing. You don't play checkers. So that's what we're going to do, man. So that's why tonight I'm calling this fight and I'm going to make sure I keep your name on the end of my tongue. I want you to tune in and check it out because I'm going to call this thing live. It's going to be off the chain. And I just want you. It's going to be on Instagram. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on TikTok. It's going to be on LinkedIn. It's going to be all over. We omnipresence tonight, son. And last fight, we did over 122,000 people was live on my joint. It was crazy, but we're going to do it. This time it's going to be off the chain because it's Canelo, but it's going to be something different because I'm planning on explaining what people don't understand, like I'm doing with you, a process, and that your career is important. And the last 5 fights that you'll take part in will be more robust than your entire career was. And you had a stellar amateur career. Like very few people in the world will experience that. And the professional career is going to be what it's supposed to have been because you're going to do it right this time. That makes sense, bro?
Yes, sir. You absolutely.
Yeah. So Coach Sean is going to be a great asset and he puts you directly right there in the DMV. You get that work. You won't need it the first time. You don't even need to be in that kind of work the first time. The second fight, you will need that kind of training and sparring because this is where you're seeing what tools you're actually carrying and what do you need to sharpen that you have. Because I know the speed ain't gone and I know the IQ ain't gone, but the muscle memory has to be there. And I just think the guys that you've mentored will get to see who you really were in the sport of boxing and what you brought to the game. So with that being said, that's it. I just wanted to make sure that we're going to give people something different and really show you who you are and what you bring and what the sport of boxing can do for you if you do it the right way. Stop rushing and do it the right way because you possibly would have taken this fight straight out of the gate, went straight to that fight and been like, man, I should have did this. And this is what guys do because nobody says no because every trainer is afraid to get fired. I don't give a shit about getting fired. I ain't nobody gonna fire me unless I'm firing myself. You know what I'm saying? So I got leverage over life, and you have the opportunity now to learn how Canelo did it. He didn't just fight Floyd. Man, he was on the undercard of Floyd for years. This was all of that stuff that has happened. It took years. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia didn't just jump in the ring. They fought 6 times before that. They were babies. Now they grown men, millionaires, and now they fought. And now it paid off. Everything is chess. It's only when people don't see the behind the scenes, which is what we give them here, is the behind the scenes so that they can understand it's more to this thing than just, hey, going out here and fighting. Nah, man, that's the perception. But let's take this thing right. Let's take this thing slow. And then at the same time, let's show the game how it's actually done. And you'll end up with a kind of payday multiple ways and multiple times that will trump anything that you have ever done, because this time you're going to do it with proper approach, with the proper approach. So hopefully you got the mindset to do that, and the patience and understanding.
Man, I'm tell you, we're gonna put it together.
Yeah. So
Put it together.
yeah, absolutely. So I sent you.
What movie Walt trying to put me together. He trying to help me out. So
Yeah. Well, you connect with Coach Sean and just chop it up, man. Chop it up, because he got Keyshawn Davis and Kevin Davis and everybody up there. Like, you go in there, it's a smokehouse. That I created a video, because Nick is a killer. Sweet Pea was high on Nick, and Anthony and Lamont Peterson, all of them is high on Nick. Nick is signed with Golden Boy right now, and Nick's a problem. We went up there and gave them some work the weekend that Sweet Pea actually got hit by that car. And man, I'm telling you, those guys, they fight. Those guys fight. And yeah, well, I know that's where you. Yeah, I know you got introduced down there when you used to go to the tournaments and stuff. So your world is big. Your world is big. Yeah. Let me hold on one second. One of my boys. Let me see. It's not likely that Canelo will lose tonight. I'm gonna dude asking me a question. It's not likely he will lose unless he allows himself to not play the matador, because the matador is all about setting things up. So you invite what the guy gonna bring. You just got to have the right answers, and sometimes you don't have enough. If you go back to Bernard Hopkins versus Joe Calzaghe, Bernard could outbox him skill wise. He just didn't have the output. Same thing with Roy Jones. So let's just say that his counters are not exactly what is necessary, because it's going to be at some time where he's going to have to create volume or inflict pain. So just remember that he has to inflict enough pain so that he doesn't have to do as much volume. If he can't pull that off, it can be a very tough night for Canelo. Y'all always remember that. Always take this with you. When a person is a counterpuncher, and this is for you too, baby Tyson. I know you're an offensive fighter. You are what we call an output fighter. But when a person is a counterpuncher, when their career goes away is when they match up with a high volume puncher that can take a good punch. Joe Calzaghe, after usually getting knocked down early, could always come back and take a good punch. And that's why he beat Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones and Jeff Lacy, because he can take a punch and he can throw volume. And that's why David Benavidez is such a problem, because he can throw volume and he can take a punch. So let's just hope that Canelo can pinpoint the punches to the solar plexus and to the temple that will discombobulate Munguia, because this is a real fight. But Canelo, he knows what he's doing. But when you're a fighter, sometimes you can't look both ways, because what typically always work for you don't always work for you as you move further ahead. Say what?
no, I was telling bro, Trump put my stuff
Okay, yeah. So just keep that in mind, champ. If you're gonna put money on it, if is it going to go the distance? Yeah, it's a very good chance. Excuse my French. The reason why I can go the distance is because Munguia has not been knocked out before, and he doesn't believe he can get knocked out. And baby Tyson, this is exactly what I'm saying to you too. Always remember the rules of valor If you're an output fighter and the guy can deal with what you got to learn how to use the ring different. You got to learn how to fight off that back foot and set traps. And then if you look at what Ryan Garcia learned to do, he learned to do that. And that's what he did. He was basically on his back foot most of the fight with Devin Haney, which is why he found so many open shots. And when he stood his ground, he saw clearer shots. And that's what knowing how to use the ring versatile will do for you in a versatile manner. So that's it, man. Go ahead, baby Tyson. I'm out of here, man. I'll wrap with you later. Touch base with Coach Sean. Get up there, get that work with Keyshawn Davidson, those guys. And I'll see you soon. I'll wrap with you. Watch the fights tonight. Watch the live stream. It's going down. I'll send you the link. All right. Love you, boy. So, guys, just always be conscious that the game is real. And all you got to do is be conscious of what are the 8 stages of boxing and understand the 5 layers of defense. Tune in tonight. We're going to cover this entire round by round. The fight doctor is going to break it down. Everything that you don't have access to when it comes to understanding the sport of boxing. It's going to be electric. So tune in tonight, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, PM. I see you soon. Be blessed at Godspeed in the winner's circle. And thanks for following the pages. We got you covered. This is the Fight Show Live.